Tales of a great flood destroying the world can be found in the earliest myths of many ancient cultures across the globe. Both the Hebrew Bible and the Islamic Quran describe an epic flood in the tale of Noah's Ark.
God was unhappy with the people for their sinful ways, and as a kind of punishment and also an act of purification, sent the great deluge. Most living things would die in this except for a few birds and fish. But he told Noah very specifically how to build a craft that could survive the storm.
Noah is to collect pairs of the air-breathing animals on Earth, and he packs these animals and his family into the ark. And then it rains for 40 days and 40 nights and floods the entire Earth. And all air-breathing animals and people are killed.
In ancient Mesopotamia, a similar story of a catastrophic flood was chiseled into clay tablets dating to 2000 BC. Known as the Epic of Gilgamesh, this early Sumerian poem describes angry gods that send a great flood to destroy mankind, while allowing only a chosen few to survive.
The gods had created humanity to perform whatever labor they were supposed to do, but what happened was that, according to the old Mesopotamian stories, human beings just started causing too much trouble. They became noisy, they became rebellious, and it was just time to wipe them out. And that's actually what's reported in those old creation stories.
But did such stories of great floods engulfing the world merely spring from man's imagination? Or were they real? If so, might such devastation have had an otherworldly origin, as ancient astronaut theorists believe?
If the human race in the early 21st century is now weaponizing the weather, why shouldn't aliens from some faraway world have already developed it? If ancient aliens were able to weaponize the weather, then I don't think we can rule out the idea that possibly some of these great ancient floods may not have been the work of gods, but could have been the work of highly advanced technological aliens actually seeking to potentially obliterate the human race.
There are more than 1,000 different flood myths from cultures all around the world. And the tendency has been for archaeologists to say that that's simply because people's fantasies work in the same way. But I honestly think there's a much simpler explanation for why the flood myth is so universal. I think it's a memory of what happened at the end of the Ice Age. What's much more mysterious is that, coupled with these memories of global devastation, there are also memories of almost godlike beings with incredible powers and abilities who were caught up in that cataclysm.
The deluge stories are really very interesting. What they all say is that the angels, the gods, whatever we want to call them today, they basically just got tired of humanity, where there's a wanton intention to wipe out or thin out the human race.
Right there, we have a perfect example that maybe the extraterrestrials were unhappy with Homo sapiens, and it is possible that they then created some type of a catastrophe, some flood, to eliminate mankind. But it's also possible that benevolent extraterrestrials warned us about an impending catastrophe so that not everyone would be destroyed.
Could the mythic floods of the ancient past really have been the result of extraterrestrial influence?